Hi, my name is Nicole Willett, and I'm going to be helping you build your online store, either here at Anchorspace Potsdam or virtually. Now, I know it feels like a very daunting task because we're opening a whole new store. This one's on the internet. But what I'm here to do is offer a whole weekend to get you through and get you launched before the main part of the holiday season. So you might be asking yourself what you can do to prepare for our time together. Building an online store, as you know, is a lot of work, so the more of these things you get done ahead of time, the more relaxed and easier process this is going to be. So, step one, and I think is probably one of the most important things you're going to do, is get your inventory set up. I've shared a sample inventory sheet with the SBDC counselors, but your inventory sheet might look a little bit different than mine, depending on what kind of products that you sell. As you're organizing this spreadsheet, you're going to be thinking about things like, what categories do I want to put my products in, and how do I want to describe these products? I'm also going to ask you to do things like weigh and measure, because if you're going to be using a shipping calculator, that is going to be how shipping prices are determined. So it's really important you get that part as close as you can. So the more complete your inventory sheet is, the less things that you'll have to figure out when we're together. The second thing you're going to want to consider is how you want to handle shipping. Now, I think this is the part that stops a lot of people from wanting to do e-commerce, is having to ship things out. So one thing you can do is, obviously you can hire a company to handle your shipping, but if you're just starting off, that might be expensive and you might not have a ton of orders and you might actually be able to handle it in-house pretty well. But what you'll want to determine is if you're doing calculated shipping, if you're doing flat rate shipping, or if you're doing free shipping. Obviously, you need to build your costs into your products. So if you're doing free shipping, you need to figure out what it will cost to ship your products so that you can build that in. If you're doing flat rate, you're going to need to figure out what different sized flat rate boxes can hold and how you'll handle shipping each of the items that you're selling in your inventory sheet. And if you're going to do calculated shipping, you will need accurate measurements of your products, but also think about them in terms of how they're packaged, because the packaging weighs something, and the packaging might add some additional dimensions to be considered as part of shipping. If you need help with shipping, I have some resources that I can send you, but at the very least, think about how you would want to handle it and what your costs are so that they can be built in. Something else you're going to need is a couple of policies. So the main things you're going to want are a privacy policy, which if you're doing any kind of online advertising, you're going to need, and a refund policy. But you're going to have to obviously write your own based on obviously what data you're tracking and the kinds of things that you're doing with people's information for the privacy, and what you're willing to do in terms of a return policy and how people would access that. Another thing that you'll probably want to do ahead of time is get your content ready. So things like photographs of your products. Now, if you're physically coming into Anchorspace, we're going to have a product photography set up. We have some lights, we have a tripod, we have a half of a mannequin. So we have some options there if you don't want to take the photos ahead of time. But if you do, maybe you want someone wearing the clothing that you're going to be selling. Maybe you want to, style your product. If it's like a home decor product, you want to put it inside of a living room with other stuff. That's something you're going to obviously want to do ahead of time. The other thing you'll want to do is get together things like if you have logos, if you have pictures of you working on the products or of your store, that kind of thing. So get all your imagery ahead of time. Remember, even if you don't use the photos for the website, you'll be really glad to have them for your marketing and for other things that you're going to do with your business going forward. And the last thing you're going to want to do is get together all of your written information. So feel free to write long form. You can always cut it down, but usually sitting in these workshops, I haven't seen people feel like they were excellent writers in the middle of it. So the more of that you get done, you can just pop it on the page, make it look nice, and move on to the next thing. Now, if you have any questions leading up to this, obviously you can ask your SBDC counselor or you can reach out to me. The main part with having these large blocks of time to work together is that no matter what comes up, it's something that we can have time and space to figure out together. So thanks so much for thinking about coming to this workshop. Again, I look really forward to meeting you virtually or in real life. and seeing what we can build together and allowing more people here in the North Country to shop locally online.